Candace Owens has decided to now plug JTV. Yes, that's right. That's right. A clip of us featured on her show recently when she was talking about how she believes that we are not being told the truth at all about Charlie Kirk's awful, tragic murder. And she is trying to push the narrative that somehow this is all to do with the fact that he was about to turn on Israel. And she shared my really insightful and interesting conversation with Josh Hammer, who revealed to me that he had a conversation with Charlie. Charlie wants to have a Zoom with him and Rabbi Pesach Waliki to prep his Israel arguments the night before he was killed, to prep them for his campus tour. So Candace referenced it on her show. Have a watch.
Pray for Charlie's beautiful wife and their young children. Rest in peace, warrior. And as you saw yesterday, Josh never forgets to plug his book. He never once forgot to plug his book. A few days after Charlie's death, he went on JTV, which is on the global Jewish channel, to discuss that last call with Charlie further with a host named Ali. And here is what Josh says about his book.
We actually did speak for the last time less than 24 hours before the assassination happened. We had a Zoom call, a friend of mine, him, a couple of his producers. It was a small call. We were literally talking, above all, about the anti-Israel questions that he expected to receive on this campus tour. And we were kind of talking him through talking points and strategy and how to deal with these expected hostile questions. And you held on my book, Israel and Civilization, Ali. The last words I think Charlie spoke to me were, he literally said, Josh, when the Israel question comes up, I'm just going to plug your book, Israel and Civilization, because I think that what you read in the book basically is how I feel as well. And that ends up being the last time that we spoke.
Well, you heard him. It's like Charlie's final wish is for you to buy Josh Hammer's book. I mean, it's like, hey, he literally says, like, the last thing he said to me actually was like, I'm just going to plug your book. What he wanted to do on his tour was just to plug Josh Hammer's book. And it's so sad that he never had the opportunity to plug Josh Hammer's book. Now, let's keep with this interview because he's going to be asked more specifically about certain characters in the movement that are trying to, quote unquote, hijack Charlie's legacy by telling the truth. And remarkably, he is going to work, I swear, he's going to work in his book again. Take a listen.
Precisely as you mentioned, there have been people who like Ian Carroll, and it pains me to mention her name, Candace Owens, because I know how close she was and maybe still is to Charlie. But at the end of the day, she's chosen to hijack his death right now to blame it on Israel. I mean, it's just so disturbing. So there you go. There's a nice clip of JTV there. Hopefully more of her followers will become aware of JTV and they can check out our content and they can learn the truth about Israel, how Israel is a shining light in the world, both in how it conducts itself on the battlefield, but also as a society. And she can also maybe learn more about Torah and how the Jewish people are God's chosen people eternally. And he designated the land of Israel as an eternal inheritance for the nation of Israel. And that when God uses the word eternal for his covenant with Israel, he means it and he doesn't break his promises. And one of the things I'd love to do, because Candace clearly is very interested in theology, I'd love to actually have a conversation with her on theology. So maybe we could make that conversation happen. I'm actually a lot less invested and interested in the question of Charlie Kirk's specific views on Israel. Completely understand that they were not just straightforward on one side or the other side, that he had all kinds of frustrations. But to be honest, I think plenty of people have offered us insight into Charlie's views on this. We can learn a lot from just his words on campus tours and when speaking to students and in doing interviews and his letter to Netanyahu. And yes, even private text messages. It can show us the full scope of his views, and as well as listening to the people that really were closest to him and really close to him in the days, hours, weeks, months beforehand. I also have to say that I find it a little bit strange that Candace Owens finds it so extremely suspect and heinous and immoral that Josh mentions his book, which, if Charlie really did say that he has been using it and reading it and sharing it with people, then I don't see why it's so wrong to mention it. But particularly when you're making some kind of accusation that Josh is, monetizing what's happened with Charlie Kirk, when this is literally a week after Charlie's murder. On Candace's channel, on her videos, she's pushing her merchandise for people to buy while she's talking about Tyler Robinson, the murderer of Charlie Kirk. I mean, you talk about the hypocrisy here. It's and I'm not coming here to attack her for selling merchandise and all of that, but I don't really understand the logical consistency in what she's trying to say here. But to be honest, there's plenty of people talking about that already. But I think that so much of the hostility that we see towards Israel and Jews, and my sense is, yes, even in the case of Candace, is this comes down to some kind of theological conception or misconception of Jews, the Jewish people, Israel, the Torah. So I'd love to have a conversation, theological one, because I think that's the root of this. That's the root of the problem in the Middle East with the Muslim world. That's how I believe we really get to the bottom of this. And I believe that actually there's a reason that the world is so obsessed and so focused with Israel and so focused on all these theological questions, because God uses Israel as his people, as his tool almost, to bring the world towards its ultimate destiny, which is to be filled with the knowledge of the God of Israel. So all the world can have a relationship with him, and Israel can serve as that blessing to the entire world, a vessel for God's light, so that all the world can receive that light and receive that goodness. Christians like Candace are somewhat close in a way, because to the Jewish viewpoint, they believe that there is this one Jew who acts and serves as a vessel for God's light to the world. Jesus, and as a suffering servant for the world that suffers through that process of bringing the world kicking and screaming towards that destined end. She just needs to adjust it slightly to understand that it's not just one Jew, but it's actually the entire Jewish people. So there's my little plug for JTV on Candace's show. Greatly appreciate that, Candace. Do check out my interview with Josh Hammer, where you can see in more depth the kind of things he says. Imagine you're running for your life. Your home is no longer yours. Your neighbours spit at you in the streets. The government has branded you an enemy, stripped you of your rights, your livelihood, your humanity. You're a Jew in Nazi Germany, 1938, and the world knows your people are being crushed under Hitler's iron fist. You're desperate, clutching a suitcase with everything you own, praying for a visa, a ticket, a country, any country that will let you in. Now imagine this. The world's most powerful nations gather to decide your fate. 32 countries meeting in a lavish hotel by a serene lake with the power to save you, to save hundreds of thousands like you. And one by one, they say no. Welcome to JTV. I'm Ollie Annersfeld, and today we're diving into one of the most gut-wrenching, shameful chapters in modern history, the Evian Conference of 1938. This was the moment when the world had a chance to stand up, to open its doors, to save countless Jewish lives from Nazi persecution, and turned its back. This is a story of hope dangled and then snatched away, of sympathy that never became action, of a failure that paved the way for the Holocaust. We'll uncover every layer of what happened at Evian, why it unfolded the way it did, and the chilling warning it holds for us today. This is not just history, it's a mirror, forcing us to confront who we are when the world cries out for help. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.